Welcome to another week of the Commissioner's Corner. I am joined today by senior forward from the University of Minnesota, Taylor Heise. Taylor, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Nothing to complain about. So
good. Well, I'm really happy to have you. I have lots of questions for you coming off of your big weekend and with lots ahead. So let's get right to it. Gopher Hockey celebrating 25 years as a program this year, which is obviously an incredible milestone, comes with a lot of success, a lot of notoriety, a huge forever piece of women's hockey history. So my question for you is, what does Gopher Hockey mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, that's a loaded question for sure. I think there's so many things that Gopher Hockey means to me. I've been here for 4 years. I feel like this is like where I live. This is my home. And I feel like that's hard for a lot of people to say. Something that I think that we value is like, obviously you want to win. Like there's that winning mentality, and that's exactly like what you want to do at the end of the day. But like we value family and we value each other so much that I just don't see that in every other program. I think like Gopher Hockey means like we're a family on and off the ice, especially off the ice, because like when you're having a tough time, and college isn't easy, me being a coach isn't easy either, so we value each other so much, and it's just so fun to like come to the rink every day knowing that like if there is something that went wrong, that you can put it in the past, and you know that people are going to be there to support you. Like, you know, if you're having a bad day, like that I can go up and say something to someone. But we also like to focus on the fact that how many people, like alumni base of like what they've done before, kind of take that and just realize how important they were in where we are at today. Like we have our values, obviously 4 values that we talk about, but like those would not have been put in place without the people before us. So Frost likes to talk about that a lot, but it's so important because like I said, we wouldn't be as big of a notable program if it weren't for them.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, I've heard when I've been around you guys before too, that, and we talk about it as just women in the business and women in sport now, that you're paving the way for the next generation and someone paved the way for you. Right. And so it's been really, I think for me, pretty special to sort of watch the 25-year history pieces kind of roll out and just to really look at how far not only Gopher women's hockey has come, but even how far women's hockey has come over the course of the last 25 years. And as you mentioned, family, we were talking offline about who lives in your house and how it is to be, off of the ice. So tell the viewers a little bit about, how crazy your house is and maybe how special it is to not only have your teammates as teammates, but also as roommates and friends.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of talked about it, but I live in a house with 10 girls. There's 4 floors, 2 laundry rooms. Like we have a lot going on, and there's always chaos. There's always something going on, but that's my personality. I like to keep busy. So I live with most girls in my class. So I live with Katie Skaya, Abby Barine, Crystalyn Hengler, Gracie Ostertag, Emily Oden, Savannah Norcross, and then we have 2 other girls that live in the house as well who don't play hockey. But it's such a family atmosphere around here. Like it's funny around the holidays. Like it's hard not to miss your family, but this is my family. This is my second family, and we always talk about it. We celebrate Christmas together. We celebrate Thanksgiving together. Like usually as an athlete, you're not able to celebrate those with your family just based on the sport we play. But we put a Christmas tree up. We'll give each other gifts. Like it's just such a fun atmosphere, honestly. I've lived here this is my 3rd year here. So as a senior, lived in the dorms the first year and then moved here with pretty much everyone in my class. And we like I said, they're my second family, and I wouldn't like give them up for the world.
So family is important when dynamics change, right? So this season or this off season, pretty notable changes that happened to the program with the coaching changes and obviously even some roster changes because of the Olympic season. So as the leader on your team, what has that been like for you to sort of have to navigate that yourself and then also help your teammates navigate through the changes?
Yeah, I think like I said, we've had some big changes in the past, like this past year. And I think whether that's coaching wise, player wise, as a leader, I just try to think like you got to think one step ahead. Like we didn't know what was going to happen this year. We didn't expect to lose 2 coaches at the end of the day. Like that's just how it went. But I'm so grateful for the opportunities that JJ and Bethany both brought us like before they left. But now we have Dar and Jake, and like the difference in what we've had, like it's so interesting to think about what we were and what we are now. And everyone who was involved in all the changes, I think like did their best, and we truly came out in a positive way, I think. Player wise, obviously we're missing the girls who are centralized, but like they're here, they support us every day. Like I get a call from, like, Grace is one of my best friends, and me and her talk and chat all the time. But I think as a leader, it's just interesting to just like lead a team full of people who just want to be here. So like being at the rink is their number one priority. And I think that we miss them obviously, but we're here to win the national championship at the end of the day. And whether or not that they're here with us or that they're obviously supporting our country at the end of the day, like we want to make sure that we are paving the way for Gopher women's hockey. Like you said, like it's 25 years, which is crazy to think about. Because I know the men just celebrate 100 years here for us as well. But coaching changes, player changes. As a leader, I think our leadership group has just talked about like, let's push forward, and we're here to do and win a national championship. But it's how you get there, and it's the people who you're pursuing in that sense in order to get there.
Yeah, I know I've talked to Coach Frost a couple of times just about, transition, right, and the differences. And he's always been, he changes what you make it. So you can choose to make it a good thing, and change happens. And so I think you all are blessed, obviously, to have such a strong group of upperclassmen leaders who can, help facilitate things. And obviously that builds success as well. So now you're on an 8-game winning streak. Huge weekend last weekend, lots of, record number of shots on goal. Yourself had a big performance, but let's just talk about right now, kind of the most recent success for the team. What do you think is, what's clicking all of a sudden now, or what's feeling good for the team that's leading to that success?
Yeah, I think there's just so many things that have led to that. As of right now, I feel like in the past years, this is a time where some people like, there's injuries, there's things going wrong. Like it's always right before Christmas, and you're just trying to push through and like get there. We're not at that right now. I don't think we have some injuries, don't get me wrong, but the spirits are high. Like people are excited to be there, and obviously like that's how it should be, but it's sometimes hard. Like life gets hard around here. Like college life is not the easiest, but we're pushing through. And I think every practice is just so fun to see everyone with a smile on their face. We're having success because of our camaraderie off the ice, I believe. We have, like I said, we had a good amount of freshmen come in this year. We have a lot of older girls who are mature and like leaders on this team. I think going back to having some coaching changes, player changes, we had a bunch of really mature leaders like step up and be like, this is how it is. Like we don't get to choose whether or not that we like this or not, truly. Like and honestly, like we're having such a good time. Dar and Jake bring a new energy and like so much new chemistry, I think, to us. Like we're getting new ideas, and it's just super fun to see everyone with an open mind. I think an open mind is what we talked about as leaders going into this year, because you never know what you're given, and you're really not given anything any day. Like you just need to make sure you give your all. And at the end of the day, we're clicking. I think our lines are working really well. Our D pairs are working well. We're rolling through. I think this weekend we proved how deep we were. Mm-hmm. Like who can we had probably 15 people get on the score sheet this weekend, which was just amazing to see. So a long story short, I think our camaraderie off the ice and on the ice is just really stepped up, and it shows when you're able to do everything you can for the people sitting next to you, and just because you love the game.
It's awesome. When you love something, it typically lends you to being more successful at it. That is no doubt.
Absolutely.
You yourself had a huge weekend, second career hat trick, 5 points. Like I've heard people say, maybe in other sports that they were in the zone. Do you feel like you were in the zone this weekend? What was it like for you individually with your performance?
Yeah, I think in the zone's an interesting way to speak about it, but I feel like I try to be in the zone every weekend. I think obviously this weekend, like we played a full team game, and like we haven't necessarily done that all year. So I think this weekend just brought a bunch of confidence for me, just seeing like people step up to the plate. We had some big freshmen score their first goals. That was honestly more important to me. I had like a tear in my eye on the bench a few times when that happened. But like, it's just so fun to see everyone like working together. And it's so easy for me to build off that energy. Like our energy this weekend was electric is how I would describe it. I think it was like, just seeing everyone step up to the plate was exciting for me. I think just taking that confidence and rolling with it. When you get on a roll, it's hard to stop, as long as you don't snowball it. But just grateful for my teammates, grateful for my line mates for giving me those opportunities. Like I obviously can't make them myself. So yeah, a big shout out Katie Sky and Abby Breen. They're my line mates this weekend. I love them to death. They work their butt off every day, and I'm grateful for them.
They're totally like listening at the door, I'm guessing right now too. They're going to be like, yeah, yeah.
Really? Hey, they're probably pounding on the door actually.
That's so funny. So you mentioned kind of the, we're at that point of the season where it's a little bit of a grind and you're just trying to push to Christmas. But if you look at your schedule between now and Christmas, like it really is a grind. So you've got St. Cloud, the home and home this weekend. You go to Nashville for some big non-conference matchups. Wisconsin, Duluth, 2 top 10 teams. I mean, it's not going to get any easier in this next 4-week stretch. So how are you all, what's the focus? How are you keeping that focus to try to, get yourselves to the break in a good position?
Yeah, absolutely. I think last year was always in the back of our minds at the end of the day, like one small game can truly choose whether or not you make nationals or not at the end of the day. So I think every day we try to come in with this attitude of like, we are Gopher women's hockey, but we're more than that. Like we want to go out and prove ourselves every day, but we also want to have that attitude that we have worked so hard this year. I know how many people have put in countless hours in the off season, just taking that confidence and rolling with it. Like knowing that we can compete with any team that we have played in the past. Like we showed it at Colgate, we showed it at RIT this weekend, we showed it with Duluth, we've showed it with everyone who we've played so far. And I think that that's kind of what we're going into each weekend with, is like knowing that our confidence factor is high, but not changing our standard. Darwitz always talks about it. She's like, no matter who the opponent is, we're not changing our standard. Our standard stays the same, but we're going to work our butts off every single day in order to prove that to people. Because some people look at the stat sheet, some people look at the game score, like not everyone's watching the game. We want to be able to prove that both on the ice and on the stat sheet at the end of the day. But I think, coming into a really hard 4 or 5 weeks before Christmas, like I'm saying things haven't gotten to be crazy yet. They will, but I think we're so excited. Like Nashville's tournament's going to be so fun. I know we're all looking forward to that. Like just finding small little wins that you're going to find, like finding those small things that are going to bring you happiness at the end of the day. I think that's what we're trying to do. And the coaches are doing a great job with that, just reminding us like why we're here. We've been talking about our 4 values recently. We were just talking about gratefulness on Tuesday and just hearing everyone talk about what they're grateful for, and just even the small things about like having a stick rack, having a locker room to get dressed in, having people who actually want to be there every single day, whereas some of us didn't have that in the past. So.
Yeah, no kidding. There was a lot in that answer that is worth, noting. Obviously, whatever standard you set, to keep that standard. I think that's advice for any program, any level. It doesn't matter, right? Like you've established who you are, and now you want to be that team and those people every time that you step on the ice. And I've talked with a lot of guests this year about the idea of gratefulness and just, coming off of last year and what everybody kind of went through. And, again, we're talking about the sport of hockey in the middle of a pandemic, but still being grateful to play on home ice with fans. I mean, those are things that we didn't really get to experience last year. And I think it's given everybody a sense of like, just a refresh on why it is that we're doing what we're doing and why it's so fun. Okay, so let's switch gears. You're from Lake City, Red Wing High School. Talk to me about how you got into hockey and how you got to Minnesota.
Yeah, it's actually a funny story. When you sent me that, I was like, oh boy, here we go. But I am from a basketball family. So both my parents played basketball in college, and one of my younger brothers plays basketball at the University of Northern Iowa. My other younger brother plays basketball for Lake City varsity team. He's a junior. So I was not put in the hockey realm to start as a kid. I played both basketball and hockey to start, but in first grade, I actually received a little letter in my mailbox, and it was like, try hockey for free. I think Minnesota Wild donated equipment and they brought it down. And I gave that letter to my parents and they laughed at me, which we to this day think it's funny because they're like, no, I don't think so. And I was like, no, I actually want to try it. I think it'd be fun. And they laughed, but to this day we laugh about it because if they wouldn't have said yes, like, I don't know where I'd be today, honestly. So I started on an outdoor rink with a warming hut, and we would practice once a week. If the ice was good. If it wasn't, then you couldn't practice. But that's how I started. I started when I was about 6 or 7. And then we played games against the only team near us, which was Wabasha County. And we play on Sundays. And one thing I remember is like lacing up my skates in the warming hut, and there'd always be little treats in there because moms would bring them on Sundays after church. So we'd go after church and we'd play. It's just crazy to think about like how I came this far from playing in a warming hut and freezing my butt off every single day outside. And then I ended up going and playing, I think in Red Wing for a year playing U8s. And then I ended up just staying in the program there. But I know, crazy story, both basketball and hockey intertwined, but I think hockey won at the end of the day.
Yeah, I would say so. Thank goodness that your mom and dad said, "Yeah, we'll give it a try." Right? Think about how different the path could have been if that wasn't the case. So
Yeah, you never know where I'd be.
Did you know early on in your recruitment that Minnesota was the place you wanted to be?
Yeah, so I also think that's an interesting question. I thought long and hard about my college decision. I mean, you're spending 4 years, and that needs to be the place that you love the most. My mom, she's a teacher. She's very analytical. We made pros and cons lists. Like, I grew up watching Gopher sports, whether or not that was hockey, basketball, volleyball. Like, was a huge fan, and so was my family. So I made sure to keep my options open. But at the end of the day, I felt so sure about this place, and I'm forever grateful that I chose it. I mean, I've been here for 4 years, and new things surprise me every day about being here, and I love it more than truly anything. And like I said, my class is pretty big. There's 6 or 7 of us, and I wouldn't give that up for the world. These girls are my best friends, and they're going to be my best friends until the day I die. So, I mean, I'm forever grateful for the fact that God brought me to the University of Minnesota, and brought me to so many new ideas, coaches, players, like just being here on this campus, like every day, I'm grateful to be here.
So what's after hockey for Taylor? What's your major? What does the future hold? Or how, after hockey might be a while, but at some point, if there's after hockey, what's next?
Yeah, at some point hockey will end. It's going to be a sad day, but yeah. So I am majoring in kinesiology. I'm hoping to get a master's in marketing or sports management. Haven't quite decided yet, but I was set in 7th grade. Actually, this is funny. I decided I was set on being a physical therapist, and I honed my mind into one small little area. And then I got to college and realized that chemistry really wasn't for me. So after that, I kind of moved into marketing, kinesiology, like the whole realm, and just kind of like looking at what I wanted to do. So I'm not sure necessarily what I'm going to do, but I know I'm going to do something in the sense of marketing, sports management. I love working in groups. I want to be in the sports world, though. I think a lot of athletes say that, but I just know that that's where I want to end up at some point. So it's a mystery, but we'll see where my life takes me, I guess.
Well, there's always room for talented females in the sports world. So I'll be excited to welcome you into it when you're ready. All right, we've hit the end. So I think I told you this before we started. I always do at the end sort of a little bit of a get to know you. And we've been doing some kind of this or that type questions. And I decided that it was time to shake them up a little bit. So you'll be the first one to go through some of these. So we'll see if I get you on any of them. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Sweater or hoodie?
Hoodie.
Phone call or text?
Phone call.
I kept that one in because I love to learn that about people. We've had so many young women say phone call, which honestly surprises me every time, but I love it so much because we need more communication like that. Okay.
Yeah,
I digress.
Text can get, you never know. You
never know what someone's
actually how someone's feeling over a text.
Amen. So. Card game or board game?
I like card games.
Starbucks or Caribou?
Starbucks.
Oceans
I don't
or
drink
mountains?
coffee though, so.
Say that again.
Intriguing. I don't drink coffee. I get one thing and that's it.
What do you get?
I get a strawberry refresher with lemonade instead of water. Grace Elwinkle, if you're listening, that's because of her. She set me up with that. So
shout out to Grace.
Taking all my money.
I need to try that because I also don't drink coffee, and I feel like in my line of work, a lot of people are like, "Oh, let's meet for coffee," and I'm like, "Sure," and then I'm drinking hot chocolate or something because I don't drink coffee and I have to figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, oceans or mountains?
Oceans.
Pen or pencil?
Pen.
Okay, when you're at a movie, are you a popcorn or candy kind of person?
Candy.
Passenger or driver?
Driver.
I feel like I could have guessed that one. Morning person or night owl?
I feel like I'm a little bit of both. It really depends on the day, but I'm more active at night.
Okay. Dinner or dessert?
Dessert. I'm a huge baker. I bake from this house more than I do a lot of things.
Next time, will you save me some? Because I love dessert. Clearly, too much dessert.
Everyone's birthday. That's one thing we talk about around here. Everyone gets one thing that they want to choose, and I'll make it for them for their birthday.
Fabulous.
Yes.
Perfect roommate to have. Okay. Road trip or plane trip?
Plane.
Where would you fly to?
Oof. I mean, dream Nashville. So that's coming up in 2 weeks, but it's interesting. If we could go, if California was a thing, I would like to go there.
Okay.
I've been there, but it's very fun. So I'd love to go back.
Okay. It is the thing. I just want to make sure you know that. If you're
yes,
sure,
it is.
It really is the thing.
We haven't. Yeah.
Just messing with you. Okay. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Netflix or Hulu?
Netflix.
Dine in or delivery?
Dine in.
Okay. Last one. It's a little bit different. What's one word that you would use to describe yourself as a hockey player?
Let's see. I would say aggressive.
Why are you
like
laughing?
just aggressively, like intense. My friends always say that about me, like in just life in general. So I would have to say aggressive, just not like just always doing something, like always a part of something and doing something. That's just my personality.
I like it. I think it came through. I like aggressive Taylor.
Yes.
I'm here for it. All right. So Taylor and the Gophers are at St. Cloud on Friday night, home in the Hall of Fame game on Saturday afternoon. Actually, all 8 of the WCHA teams are in action this weekend against each other. So we have a full slate of WCHA games, which means all of the action can be found on B1G Plus, our streaming partner. Looking forward to a great weekend of WCHA hockey. Thanks, Taylor, for joining me.
Thank you.